Shalom, everyone, and welcome to today's scripture with the Ayaba. And today's scripture is John, or Yahuchanon, chapter 15, verse 7, and it reads as follows. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Abide in Yah. Here in this passage of scripture, it says, if ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Sounds like a good deal, doesn't it? I think so too. But we have to understand what the word abide really means. So let's look at that. The word abide means to obey, observe, follow, keep to, hold to, conform to, adhere to, stick to, stand by, act in accordance with, acknowledge, respect, defer to. Okay, now we have to ask ourselves the question, are we abiding in Yah? The first word that it starts off with is obey. Okay? In order for us to abide in Yah, we have to be obedient to Him. We have to observe what He tells us to do. We have to follow Him. We have to follow His commandments. We have to keep to. Okay? We've got to hold to. We can't let go of what He's telling us to do and do the opposite. We've got to conform to what He wants us to do. A lot of times we end up conforming to the instructions of others instead of conforming to what the Most High Yah is calling us to do. Conforming to His instructions, making the necessary adjustments that we need to make in our lives spiritually to make sure that we are conforming to the commandments of Yah. Not trying to get the scriptures to fit us, but we need to fit in with what the scriptures are saying that we should be doing. Adhere to. Stick to. Okay, no matter what, we're going to stick with it. We're going to stick with being obedient to the Most High Yah. We're going to stick with following His commandments and observing what He has called us to observe, instead of observing and doing things that we shouldn't have anything to do with. Stand by. Okay, you've heard the term, I stand by my word. Okay? We need to make sure that we're standing by the word of Yah. That what we're doing is we're standing by our relationship with Him. We're going to abide with Him. So we're going to stand by what the Most High Yah has told us to do. People say, well, why are you doing this? Okay? We shouldn't be, running the other way and trying to make up an excuse for why we're doing what we're doing. No, we need to stand by being obedient to what we have been called to do as children of the Most High Yah, and stand by your actions. Stand by what you're doing that lines up with the commandments of Yah. And don't be afraid to explain why you're doing what you're doing. Whether the person or the group of people, like it or agree with it or accept it or not, you stand by it. Act in accordance with. Many times we're acting in accordance with what other people want us to do for whatever reasons we may have. But we have to learn how to act in accordance with the commandments of Yah. That's how we abide in Him. Acknowledge Him, respect Him, defer to Him, okay? And when you defer to the Most High Yah, when you acknowledge Him in all your ways so that He can direct your paths, then you're humbling yourself and you're saying, you know what? I know that you know what's best for me in every single situation in my life. So I'm going to acknowledge you. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to defer to you, Yahuwah, for the advice, the direction, the leadership, the guidance that I need, the revelation knowledge that I need to be able to go forward. Okay? So it's very, very important that we understand what abide means. Because really, if we're going to come before the Most High Yah in prayer and ask Him for anything in prayer, we got to make sure that we are abiding in Him and that our words are abiding in us. See, that's the next step. We've got to understand what His words are. And you can't do that if you don't read the scripture, if you don't read His word, if you don't study it, if you don't memorize it, if you don't get it deep down into your heart and your mind and your spirit. You can't really properly abide in Yah. Okay? So we've got to understand what all of this entails before we can really truly come before Him appropriately in prayer and ask for anything. Okay? Sometimes we're not getting our prayers answered because we're not abiding in Him. You know, sometimes you may say, well, I'm going to stop praying because the Most High never answers my prayer. The question is, are you abiding in Him? And are you learning and understanding and studying and meditating His words and allowing His words to abide in you? Okay? So that means when you allow His words to abide in you, then that means that your life is going to be governed, okay, and led by what the scriptures say, not what somebody else says. Okay? And every decision that you make is going to be made in light of His words that abide in you. So if you don't have any of His words abiding in you, your decision making is going to reflect that. Your decision making is going to reflect whatever words that are living on the inside of you. If you've got your friends' words abiding in you, if you've got your coworkers' words abiding in you, if you've got your neighbors' words abiding in you, if you have other family members' words abiding in you, then you're going to be, making decisions that please them. You're going to, make choices that line up with what they said. Okay? So instead of you abiding in Yah, you're going to be abiding in your family member. You're going to be abiding in your neighbor. You're going to be abiding in your coworker. That's really what we're doing. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's really what we're doing or sometimes you can be abiding in your own self. You start listening and going your own way and doing your own thing. Okay? But we are called to abide in Yah. Abide in Him and allow His words to abide in us. So we've got to learn what His word is. We've got to read the scriptures. We've got to read, study, meditate, and learn the Torah and the rest of scripture. Okay? In order for those words to start living on the inside of us and allowing His words to lead us and guide us and govern the way that we live. And when we do that, then then we can ask what we will, and it shall be done unto us. Okay? That's the prerequisite to coming before him in prayer. It's like taking a class. They say, well, in order for you to take this particular class, this particular math class, you have to take this one before you can take that one. You have classes like that in college. They say, well, you can't take this class until you take these classes. And once you take these classes and pass them, then you can take this higher level class. This is the same way. Okay? Before we could come before the Most High Yah in prayer and ask him for what we need, want, or desire, we've got to make sure that we're abiding in him and that his words are abiding in us. Okay? Very, very, very important. So this is a time for spiritual inventory. Get out your spiritual checklist and do a spiritual inventory on where you are, in light of this passage of scripture. Are you abiding in Yah? And are you allowing his words to abide in you? Before you come before him in prayer and ask him for anything, expecting him to give it to you. Okay? So I just wanted to, encourage you with that, and hopefully it will open up your eyes even the more as to what's, where you are in your prayer life and where you are, period, in your relationship with the Most High Yah. And then make the spiritual and natural adjustments that you need to make to line up with him and abide in him. So I speak life to you today, health, healing, wholeness, clarity of vision, clarity of focus. I pray for your deliverance. I pray for Yah's mercy and his blessings to really manifest in your life today. And I pray that the fruit of the Ruach HaKodesh, his set-apart spirit, rests, rules, and abides in your life today in abundance and in great measure. And with that, I will leave you with Shalom.